Hello everybody. I am just going to do a really short tutorial on how I take my photos in Captura. I have seen a lot of questions on different things that you can do in here, and I just kind of wanted to do an example of just the really fun and cool things that you can do in Captura. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Currently I am using Ivara Prime, and we are in the Lotus Chamber scene. Later I will go over how you can acquire scenes and where you can acquire scenes. But we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So uh, my main thing with photos is maneuvering. It takes the most amount of time, just finding a vision and what works best for my photo. Um, I do a lot of moving around. It's probably hours maneuvering. But yeah, so we're just going to go right into it. So if we're going to go ahead and go into Captura mode, so we are going to go with the advanced settings, and we're going to go ahead and open up that menu. And you can see here we have depth of field and distance, depth, and horizon that all go into that. So depth of field is the distance between the nearest and farthest objects that are in sharp focus. So if we turn that off, you can see how the background is completely detailed now. Everything is in focus. If we turn it back on, now we have a little bit, only my frame is in focus, and we can go ahead and switch that up too. So the sliders will change that, bring things in and out of focus. Go ahead and bring it back in. Usually I'm on a 1 or a 2. Usually 2. But I think right now we'll go for 2. And so then again with depth, the depth as well is also going to bring things in and out of focus. So just toggling the sliders, you can go ahead and see. Once more, you can see all the detail on the frame. Begin to soften and back. So again, I usually have this one about a 2 or a 3. And then the horizon is actually going to only do the background, so it's going to focus entirely on the background. So here, it's actually more out of focus than it looks, but you can see here, more details, and then back into out of focus. And so same thing with exposure. Exposure is going to bring lighting, really bright, flash bulb, and then back down. So this one is really important for darker scenes, or actually really lighter scenes. You really have to just toggle the settings is my biggest suggestion. So I think I'm going to keep it at a 3 right now. And then for my field of view is really nice to show the details of your photo. You can see how I can go out of focus, out of the photo, and then back into the photo, and you can quite see all of the details on the frame. So I actually usually have this at the lowest, and then I just again maneuver my photo how I want it, but I am going to keep it at 30 right now, and then we'll do some movement. So again, not a lot of people know about this one right here, about the filters, and there's actually some really cool ones to play with. We'll go ahead and show you each filter. So this is neutral, and this is just your base photo, and then again we have contrast, and then we have the blood filter, the bleach filter, the burn filter, the black and white filter, the cross process filter, negative filter, the lotus glow filter, and the edge of shadows filter. So my favorite that I actually use in almost all of my photos is actually the cross process. And then again with the filters, a lot of different things that you can do in here. So the filter opacity is going to show you how much of the filter are we applying to the photo. And so I think we'll go ahead and keep it just right there. And then the filter depth as well is going to show how far in the photo are we using it. So again, you can see here and in the back here as it becomes the filter is being removed. And then back up here, the filter is removed on my frame. So after this, I go into lighting, and lighting is very, very important for your photos. And again, there's so many cool things that you can do with the lighting in here. Lots of different things that you can change. So the 3-light setup is basically like a spotlight on your frame. You can see it on and then off. And then we can go ahead and change also the color of each one. So this can definitely change like the complete outcome of your photo. We can match it with the scene, we can match it with cool colors, we can do something fun. So many different things you can do, especially if you have a lot of palettes with a lot of different colors. There's just a lot of things that you can do. See here, all of these neon colors, warm colors, and the cold colors, just so many things you can do. So because we are in the Lotus chamber, I am gonna do something like a purple theme. I think we'll put that. And then again, you can toggle the brightness. And then again, the fill light. And you can see, as we change the colors, it's this color right here. So this one, I think we'll do fun, and we'll go ahead and go with something maybe pink. And then we'll toggle the brightness. So you can see how the pink starts to fill up the frame a lot more. And then lastly, your rim light. Again, this one's not as noticeable, but if you know what you're looking for, you can see it. So I'm looking with the yellows right now. You can see it right here in this area. You can see how that kind of changes. And again, back here and around the sides, the colors kind of change. So with this one, I'm also going to do like a purple pinkish color. And then I turn that up. And then this is when you get to change how the light is hitting. So this rotation right here is going to completely change which direction the light is coming from. So big difference already. You can clearly see that. Big difference in the lighting, right? Big difference. So again, with the sliders, we're just gonna go. And then this one is when you just find what looks best with your photo, right? So I think I'm actually gonna keep it right there. And then for scene lighting, this is gonna change how much of the scene light is still being put in use, right? Because we do have the 3-light setup, so how much of this lighting in the background is being put to use, right? So we can go ahead and lower and darken it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it pretty dark. I really want my frame to pop, as you can see right there. And that's kind of it, right? So now we have our settings, and again, I'm gonna hover over it so everybody can take a look again. Lots of things we can change, right? Lots of things. So now we can get to the actual photo taking part. So right now, as you can see, this is the photo that we have. So if we move out, you can see how the depth of field is changing again because we do have our settings. So I do want to stay where I'm at. And then here is our first photo. Now, my favorite thing to do in Captura is action shots. I love doing action shots because there's just so many fun, cool things that you can do. With each different frame, with each different ability, there's emotes, there's weapons, there's just so much you can do, right? So, again, just my idle animation, and we already have a different setup. So, I do want to go over abilities though, and how you can use abilities still in Captura, which I guess not a lot of people are aware of, right? because your abilities, as you can see, are not available on the screen. So you are under the general impression that you cannot use them, but that's actually not true. And if you just use your weapons and your abilities like how you normally would, for example, I'm going to use my 4, and they still work perfectly fine. Again, so here's just us using our abilities though, right? I summoned my exalted weapon, and then again we can do poses. So see? And then also you can advance the time as well. So if you are doing an action shot, for example, you can still take the shot, and as you can see, you can maneuver through the time, right? I'll go ahead and show it on a better example. Actually, a better example we'll go ahead and do is emotes. There are a lot of emotes. I actually don't have that many. I have a decent amount, but there are lots of cool ones that have a lot of different movements that you can try out for each photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and try out the Eclipse Narata. And then again, as I said, we can do it action shot, and then we can advance time to see which is best of the movement. So like I said, maneuvering is like 100% of taking photos. So again, another really good emote I like to use, the Daybreak emote. See here as we're moving through time. So there's how you do it with emotes. And again, with weapons, you can do the same thing, right? Weapons also have idle animations, so if you're not willing to wait for the whole idle animation, we can actually just go ahead and advance time and wait for her to do it. See, there it is. And that's a cool photo. So this one actually is not in the field of view that I want, so I'm actually going to zoom in. Maybe not too much. And there's our next photo. Last but not least, we have our melee weapon, which is probably my favorite weapons to be using in Captura. So I love using slam effects, or just quite literally using the weapon in action. Once more, back in focus. And that's my photo. So yeah, this is just kind of a quick tutorial just to tell you the many things that you can do in Captura. There's so many different things. So many different frames and scenes and emotes, and just there's so many things you could do. Just I really recommend, just if you have a vision, come to Captura to put it out. But yeah, I hope this helps anybody who has any questions about Captura. If I need to make another more in-depth video, I'll be more than happy to. Or if you just have questions, feel free to go ahead and send them my way. Thank you so much for watching.